Hi everyone. How's it? How's it? Um, welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Bread for Soul Convos with myself, Sir LSG. Let me just send a few shout outs to people that I'm seeing online. Ola Lungas, and then see Khomotso Bobby Mutumi, Zanti Bongani, Ola, King Santos as well. Does Vinny know you're calling yourself David? Just asking. Kidding, bro. Ola's home. Hey, Tada. I see Mkomuti. Hey, Tada. Ola. Sure. Ola Mpumelelo. Hey, my man, you getting your sweater today. I promise you. Today you're getting it. Or tomorrow. Ola Lawrence. Hey, Tada. Anyway, let me just send a shout out to some peeps on the Best Beats TV page that I can see if I can get there on time. Let me see. Is it? Yeah, ne. Kare internet is slow nyana today. Cool. I can see. Okay, I'm a bit late on the Best Beats. Can see Hugo, Verdict Soul, Hola, Ashley Sunny, and then Jablo Kunene. Hey, tada. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. This is another show, another morning with Bread for Soul Convos with myself, Sir LSG. And today's guest is singer and songwriter AYANDA JIYA. My girl AYANDA JIYA from, AYANDA is from Tleksdorp. And she's started singing at the age of 6. Her first single, Go Go Girl, was nominated for a Metro FM award, and she's worked with Ralph Gam, she's worked with Aries, she's worked with Stogie T, with Lady Zama, myself, of course. She's also worked with Dr. Tumi to a certain extent. And I just want to say, thank you so much, AYANDA, for coming through. How's it?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Tell me, so I'm interested to know, like, who do you listen to? Like, you have such a very wide range, of styles of music, but just in terms of your own music listening, like, who do you listen to?
Oh, wow. I listen to a lot of people. I think the influence comes from the kind of music I grew up listening to. My mom is such a strong believer of soul music, obviously, and gospel, because that's the kind of environment I grew up in. So I think those were the two most biggest influence when it came to, the sound I wanted, to pursue, or really what really resonates with me, So we listen to everything from jazz to gospel to soul, like old school soul, like your Temptations, your OJs. So all of that is, an influence to, who I am now and, the kind of music I make. So I could say it's a little bit of everything. My father is more of a Kwaito and house. I think also that's where, the curiosity of house comes from, because I grew up in that kind of environment. So yeah.
Nice. But how do you tell me about writing for? If you write for, is it different when you're writing for an R&B song, or you're writing for a hip hop song, and you're writing for a house song? Like, how different is it for you?
Um, Well, writing in general isn't really a foreign thing or a foreign language for me. But I've always been very curious in terms of sounds and different genres. So I always try to find myself in whatever genre I'm gonna be, executing. So like with you, when you came up with the house, I was like, okay, I've never done a house before. So, like I believe I'm very spiritual, so I pray about everything I do before I do it, because the intention for me is the most important thing. So when a beat comes, it's like, okay, God, I've never really used this before. I've never really, sung on something like this before. So help me to find myself within the genre. Help me to find, or my identity within the music that I'm supposed to work on. So that's basically how I work around it. So I never really know, like, there is a way, like I don't really know if whether there is a way of writing for house specifically, or a way to write for. I think it's as diverse as it is. You just try to find yourself in all the, like, in the diversity of it. So I just go with, with what I hear and what I'm guided to do, and I just do it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you were to put it like in a more simple and practical way, how would you then describe your process of writing? So what exactly do you do when you write a song? So if, like I said, I'm gonna send you a song. Okay, I've sent you another
Right.
one. So I sent you a
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
And actually it's interesting because you started writing in another language, but I'm talking about how you
Yeah.
usually write, so
Okay.
you get a song. What is the process from you before you write and while writing? What exactly are you doing when you say I'm writing?
Um, basically always in my thoughts. The elements of the music are also, they play a huge important role in terms of the inspiration. So I'd be listening to the song, and maybe percussions could kind of sound like a certain melody, or it could sound like a certain phrase of some sort, and words will just come in my head and be like, okay, so this is what I'm writing about, and then I stick to that and I just continue. So I guess that's the simplest way I can kind of explain as to how it comes to me. Yeah, honestly, it's just really inspiration from the music that I get. If whether I connect with it in some shape or form, and then I write. So yeah,
And
that's
then,
basically how it works with me.
so what comes first then? So is it always that the music comes first for you, or do you have certain times where you write the lyrics first before the music, and maybe even the melody first before you hear the playback?
Well, it depends really, because sometimes there's music that I just write without music, or without a beat or whatever, without an arrangement of some sort. And then I would actually, excuse me, I would actually start writing it, putting a melody around it. Because for me, I don't really play an instrument. Well, I'm still currently learning how to play an instrument. So the only instrument I have is my voice, and the melodies in my head. So that's how I would basically do it if I don't have a beat that has been sent to me, or some kind of production that's been sent to me. So it depends on how it is. With you and me, you are the producer. You're the one that you're the producer. You're the one behind the production. So whatever it is that manifests in your head, you put it down and you create a song. You create the production. You send it to me, and then I would sit and basically it depends on how long I don't really have a time schedule as to how long I sit in it, but until I'm very comfortable and I've sunken into the song, and then only then that's when I will write. So it depends
Yeah.
whether I get a beat or I just create one, and
Okay.
then we start working in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, before I ask you the next question, a friend of mine from Mafikeng, Mohamud, is asking, are you and Vuyo Jia related, the comedian?
Yes, Vuyo is actually my cousin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, Vuyo is my, yeah. Okay, cool.
okay. No, cool. You heard that, bro. Yeah. So yeah, they are related.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to ask you with regards to writing, and getting songs from producers. How do you deal with songs that you don't feel? And I'll say it like this because I want to make an example with my songs. I've sent
Okay.
you a couple of stuff. It's not everything that you've written on, and so I've kind of made up my mind. Maybe you connecting with the song, like I thought you would, or whatever. Like maybe you're not connecting with the song. Maybe the timing is not
Mm,
right at that time, but you'll write onto another song that I would send at a later stage, right? How do you
right.
deal with getting requests and not actually feeling like you wanna work on that song?
Um, it's really kind of hard because you never want to disappoint a person, with whatever production they send to you.
Yeah.
They send to you. It's always like, for me, I always feel like it's timing more than anything, because I might not understand the beat as like right now. I mean, for an example, with us, if we had to really talk about how we work, you would send me a couple of beats, right?
Mm.
And in those couple of beats, I would get to listen to all of them, and then there'll be that one or two that speaks to me that very moment of me getting them. It does not necessarily mean that all these other ones that you sent to me aren't something that I would look into a bit later, because I feel like with me, there are beats that will work the moment I get them, and I can work with them because for some reason it's easier for me to work with them that moment. So then I will create in that moment. But then later on, I'll be listening to the other beats that I didn't pick, and then I'm just like, actually, this song is really nice, and then some kind of other inspiration will come in, and then it will inspire me to write again. So it's not necessarily that the production isn't really as good as it may sound to you. It's just that the timing with me in terms of my writing and in terms of my inspiration, it did not lead me to that specific beat. It just led me to the other ones, so that's basically how it works.
Yeah.
So it's not to say you're a horrible producer. It's just to say that, at that time, that time in that space, that time in that space, these were the ones that spoke to me, and then everything else would come a bit later. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, thank you for not hurting my feelings, but I mean, but you know
Thank you
what?
for understanding.
Because other people
Yeah.
will not understand, like other people,
Yeah.
I understand why people might not understand when you send your song to a singer. And I'm speaking to producers now. If you're a producer and you're watching this, you're going to be sending your song to different people wanting to collaborate with different singers and different producers maybe. And not everybody will agree to collaborating with you, firstly. Secondly,
Right.
even if they might agree to collaborate with you, but they might not like what you're sending them at that particular time. And that doesn't mean that your production as a producer is bad. If it is, if you are honest and the production is not up to standard, then you should be honest with yourself and work towards getting the production better. But don't get touched by somebody not being able to collaborate with you for one reason or another. That's just what I wanted to say.
For an example, I mean, I get a lot of people, sending me on social media like, yo, I really wanna produce for you, or there's a beat I made for you, and and the thing is, it's not to say, oh well, some beats, you listen to them and you're just like, something is missing, or the production isn't clean enough, there's lack of quality or whatever, and for you to say that, it's like, oh my word, you just really kind of killed a person's ego. And I really believe in being very honest about my work. I mean, I'm very hard on myself when it comes to my writing, even in studio when I have to record, I'm really hard on myself in terms of the delivery has to be as good as you have as I can make it to be, so when you give me a beat that does not, I mean, it works both ways. What you send me, as good as it sounds, it's also an inspiration to what I'm going to put on it. That's how you make a beautiful song. So it has to be a clean production, it has to be quality production. You can't just send me something and you just looped it and you just think, it sounds good, it might sound good, but the quality might not be as good as you think it is. And that can actually kill a lot the elements of the song altogether. So people need to really look into those things. Quality is everything. I mean, if you wanted to play on radio, they look at those kind of things. Quality is the most important thing apart from quantity. So I really pray that producers can actually put that in their heads and actually really understand that it's not that raipona or we just don't want to work with you. It's just that you really need to look into your quality of the sound, the production, the elements that you put in together. Make sure that they complement each other in order for you to create a great song.
Bruh,
Yeah.
yes, we can end this interview right now, because it's,
Right?
but
Right.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to know from you, like, okay, if you look at your own progress as a singer and songwriter, so if you look
Yeah.
at what are the differences or the major differences you see, like, with yourself from doing Rescue Me, your first song, and to
Right.
doing the sun, like when you look at progress of yourself as a singer from a singer perspective, but also as a songwriter?
Yeah. There is a lot of growth. I believe in growth. That's how you learn. So from if I had to listen to Rescue Me now, I could tell you that you can hear the immaturity, you can hear the bit of nervousness and being afraid, because you're still trying to figure yourself and how things are going to work out in terms of putting the song together. So those things, you can hear them on Rescue Me right now. So when I listen to work that I've done previously to work I've done now, normally I listen in terms of growth, to listen to my imperfections, what I can improve, stuff like that. So that's the most important thing for me when it comes to my musicality, the way I approach music, how I write and how I put things together. Growth is everything to me. So experience is the one biggest thing that I believe in terms of me growing, as a musician. So there is a huge difference, I must say, because I got to be more.
I think we are losing Ayanda because of the internet. Yeah. Okay, wait first. Let me try this. Unmute. Are you there? Okay, hold on. We lost you
I'm
for.
here.
We,
Someone
yeah.
tried to call me. Sorry
Oh,
about
okay,
that.
okay. Damn, these people.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So it's just that now I feel like you know the from where I started to where I am, there's a huge difference in terms of writing, in terms of just putting everything together, because um you know I want to grow. I want to learn more of myself. I want to learn more about, my vocal range, how, what I can do with it. So all of this was, it all is like an experiment. It's all a journey, it's all a journey. Yeah. That's what
And
I can basically say.
also, if I could ask you about the the actual stuff that you do to get better, like what does that look like? So right now, how do you prepare for a studio session? I want to know, like, technically, how do
Yeah.
you become better as a singer? So if you were to give somebody advice that these are the things that you could
Oh,
do to train yourself to become better.
yeah. Oh my God. One thing that's most important, and I think I speak for every musician out there, practice is everything. I practice a lot. I sing a lot for no reason. I'll be singing in the bath, in the shower. I sing all the time. I listen to a lot of music as well in general, but vocal exercises are one. I know they are very tedious and they sound very weird and they sound like someone's dying, or there's one that I do. I remember the one time.
Remember the one that I sent to you of Monique, right? Monique Bingham. Yeah,
Right, yes.
yeah. I need to play it. Actually, I've got an in. She's gonna be on the show soon, so I
Okay,
need to
cool.
play that audio so that people can hear how Monique prepares for a
Yeah,
gig. But yeah, sorry to cut
right.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. We sound like something's really wrong with us, but those things really play a very important role, especially because I know myself, I sing very high. So vocal exercise and warming up my vocal muscles is the most important thing in order for me to know how to control those high notes when I sing them, so practice is everything. Eating right also is like very important. You need to eat for your voice. Things like, you can't have chocolate before you're going to go sing in the next 3 hours. You can't have anything sweet or anything creamy or anything that's going to stick down your vocal cords, because that does kind of like, play a very, like, it plays a role, in terms of your delivery and your performance. So I love tea. I like liquids. So tea is one of my favorite things that help me also in terms of, preparing and getting ready, ginger tea, all of those things. Cheese, I try to avoid cheese a lot. Especially if I'm going to be performing, maybe that whole day I wouldn't even have cheese, or the day before, and I'll have cheese after I know that I'm done with a big performance, and then I can eat all these other things. But it doesn't necessarily mean I have to have them all the time, because yes, they really do kind of play a big factor my vocal cords,
Mm.
but it also depends on a person, like your what you can handle. For
Mm.
me, I know dairy products, I can't have a lot of that because it does kind of play some kind of role when it comes to my delivery.
Mm.
Yeah, tea is the one thing that is magic when it comes to my, yeah,
Yeah.
I went to I'm the one girl that drinks tea at a club, like
Yeah.
everyone knows this about me,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's basically what I do.
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, many a times when you ask her, okay, so what does she want to drink? Like, make a tea, make a tea.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I remember when I was still a choir boy, they used to make us drink
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff, like cod
right.
liver oil, all of like just to get your voice. So yeah, I mean,
I
like,
know, I know brown sherry is one thing that also helps. I know when my mother used to be at a choir, when she
mm,
used to sing for a choir, they used to give them a tot of sherry before they go and perform because that would actually quickly warm up, your vocal cords. So
mm,
it depends on everyone,
yeah,
what works for you and what doesn't. For me, it's practice. Practice works a lot, because then I'm very comfortable and I'm very sure as to my delivery that I
mm,
can do this because I've practiced
mm,
and I'm sure of it. So
yeah.
that's what helps me. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I just hope that people don't overdo it on the sherry there. If you going
Yeah,
to
hence I'm
perform,
saying
just,
no,
just,
not too much.
not too much. It's not that type
No,
of.
not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm interested in how we as people generally connect, with other people. So I'm big on making networks, and networks. Sometimes the way we say networks, we've made it to become a business thing, and it's not always that thing. But like, pro- like artist networking, that can be networking on its own. I remember the way we met. We met through a friend of mine, which I went to college with, Maifi, and
Yes.
you were doing some stuff with him, and he was like, "Yo, there's this dope singer," and that's how we met. But I'm interested to know, how did the collaborations with people like Aries and Stogie T come about?
Also connections, really. Aries, and how I got to know Aries. Aries was working with Zev at the time. So they used to, like, he would mix and master most of they work. So Aries would always hit him up and be like, so this one time he called Zeph and he was like, yo, I need a female vocalist on the song. So I don't know who you thinking. And obviously Zeph would, he would be like, yeah, try and see if whether that would work.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's how my relationship, my working relationship with him started. So that's how we got to know each other. And we really have amazing chemistry when it comes to putting things together. So I really enjoyed working with him on his project. So when he came to my project, that's when I asked him if he wouldn't mind um, being featured on a song. So that's how my relationship worked with him. Stoggy was the same thing. I wasn't really very exposed to the hip hop culture.
Mm.
I mean, I love the hip hop culture. I mean, it also kind of comes down to how I was raised, because the music that I started listening to when I was a kid, obviously it infiltrates into other people, because then you get to see where they influences come from,
Mm. Mm.
and most of the people that I grew up listening to and the people that I decided listening to, or that I discovered as well in
Mm.
my teen years, it was people that listened to the people I listened to,
Mm.
when I was growing up,
Mm.
so there was some kind of a connection in that sense. So Stargate was the same thing when he had like work that he needed done, like mixing and mastering. Zeph was the person that he'd hit up, so he really liked my work, and he really liked the authenticity of how I work. So he was just like, listen, can I really work with this person? Can you link us up? And that's how my relationship with Stuggy also happened. So
Mm.
all of it was really connections and good vibes, just getting to know a person.
Mm. Cool, cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess the one thing to take from that is that anywhere as a musician, yes, anywhere as a musician, anywhere you go,
Right.
like connect with other musicians, connect with other artists, even if they're not in the same field as you. That's why I'm always against people who don't vibe with other people only because they come from a different scene of the music. You know what I mean? Because you don't know that
Yeah.
person, how they might assist you in your career or how you might assist them
Mhm.
in their career,
Yeah.
and that exposes you to other people that you might not have
Right.
met.
Regardless of how diverse they are, it
Exactly.
can never, yeah, it can never really stop you from. Here's what I really believe: what's meant for you will never miss you. So people that you meet, are an indication of where you need to be, or they're like a guide to leading you to your journey.
Yeah.
So you never meet a person by mistake. There's always something that you are about to learn.
Yeah.
Only it only happens if you are open-minded about it. Open enough to take that opportunity or take that chance to knowing what is on the other side for you to learn.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe in connections. I
Yeah.
really do.
And I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes like some of the people that we meet, you don't always have to work with everyone that you meet, But
True.
I just want to push being decent with everyone. Don't be
Right.
like snacks mobatong, like, because
Hmm.
you don't know how you can work together, how you might work together with that person.
Yeah, and you might not work with them now.
Yeah.
You might meet them again like in 5 years later, and
Mm.
then you realize you actually need this person
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
what it is that you need to do. So I think what I would say about that is, with every connection that you have, whatever connection that you get yourself into, um, always be as neutral as possible, and take what it is that you need to take at that moment,
Sure.
because you don't want to burn your bridges, because later on you will see that person again. So that's one thing I've learned about connecting with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can see
Yeah.
Ralph is watching. Hey, Ralph, what's up?
Hey, what you doing, brother? How's it going?
Yeah.
That's so great.
So
That's
I want
great.
to ask you
Yeah.
about you you were initially signed to a label, right? Tinism,
Right.
and at some point that didn't quite work out, right? And
Right.
your music was pulled from online stores and stuff like that. But I want to know,
Mm.
like, what have you learned? Because I don't think that um, things that don't work out are necessarily bad for us, if you know what I mean. Sometimes things don't work out, but it's a lesson for us. Like they didn't work out for us to learn something from it, and then you come out of this. Now you own an independent label. Now you in a much happier space. But what did you learn from that partnership with Tinism Records?
Well, the one ultimate thing I learned was that I needed to be more, I needed to have my eyes open. I needed to learn for myself. I needed to understand the business, the music business, and how it works, in order for me to be, up to date with how things are done. So that's the one thing that really taught me how it all works. You need to, it looks great to be, signed, and, they do all these things for you, and, but you need to understand as to where your money is going. You need to know the money that you're making. If you are booked for a gig that is about 30K, right? Why is it that you get X amount of money from the 30K? You need to understand where's all the other money come, where is it all going, so that you have a clear understanding as to what is actually happening in your life when it comes to your music and your career. That for me was the one thing I felt that I needed to really learn, and ever since then, it really kind of taught me to be more cautious and to be more awake in terms of what is happening, what goes where, who does what, why are we paying this person, how much are we paying for PR, those are the kind of things that I needed to learn. So if anything, it really taught me how to be more independent and more wise about my business, when it comes to my brand, when it comes to me being an independent artist, so that's the thing that I really learned. And I think I really hope that this encourages anyone, who wants to be signed, like really look into those contracts, look into what it is they're willing to offer, what is it that you're gaining out of it, and all of those things. Those things are very important, because I think one thing that they really kind of, sometimes artists don't really realize is that, or not really artists, but labels, is that it is your life that you are signing into, like you're signing your life over to them. because this is your life, this is your career, this is what you do, this is what brings bread on the table. So your life is really connected to all of it. So the decisions that they make, they will affect you. So you need to make sure that you are comfortable in what it is that they want you to do, and that you're okay with it, so that you guys have a very clear understanding of your working relationship. So that's basically what I would say when it comes to signing and doing things like that in that regard.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then so I want to get to this point now, like your first single. Actually, let me just quickly go through some questions on Facebook.
Okay.
um okay, well, Brad Soul was asking if it wouldn't make sense for us to, for example, if you are an R&B artist and you're working with me as a house producer, if it
Right.
wouldn't make sense to whatever that we do, if it's house, to now do a flip side of that and make it R&B. And we've always wanted to do that. I think we should
Mm.
next time. Just
Yeah, we should try that. I know
yeah,
we wanted to do that with,
the
what song
flyaway,
was it? Fly
flyaway.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah, I think we should.
we should
Yeah.
on the next song. On the next
Yeah.
song. I don't like
Oh,
redoing songs.
definitely.
Yeah, on the next one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
That much I know of, actually. Yeah.
So let's. I want to talk about so your first single gets nominated for a Metro FM award, and your second EP, To Whom It May Concern, gets to number one on iTunes. Two of your album singles are wrecking radio charts right now. And there's more proof, more than enough proof that you are the girl. You are the girl. You are doing things. You are talented.
Thank you.
but but do you ever have doubts about your career?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I have my days where I'm just like, what am I doing? Or, like, yeah, like you do, like you kind of, I don't know how to explain it. There's always that one thing, there's always that little voice that always wants to pull you down. Or maybe, for an example, if something goes wrong, like, currently we experience something, in terms of the work that we're doing, Zeph and I, because Zeph is my partner in all of this. So that kind of pulled us, so like it kind of, put our spirits a bit down. And I started questioning a lot of things. But I think that's the beauty about it, is that, you never really grow and you never really understand how strong you are until something comes in your life that shakes you. So that's something that happened to me. And when those things happen, that's when you start questioning, and you start wondering if whether you really are doing what you're called to do, if whether this is really meant for you, if this is where you're supposed to go in life. But when you come out of it, you come out of it in terms of seeing what you've done thus far. It's very important for you to reflect on the things that you've already achieved, to actually, that is a form, like, it's confirmation, that affirms what you're doing, that what you're doing is actually great. I mean, I get hate mail too. People will come and they just tell you, and they hate on you. Like, yeah, you think you all of that. You think you know this, and you're not that. You some so and so is better than you. And those things can get to you sometimes. But when you look into what you've achieved, when you look into the gift that you have, and you really need to surround yourself with all that great energy in order for you to keep moving. So I really appreciate those kind of things, because every time I hear someone say something like that, or something goes wrong, for me, it's an indication that I'm doing something right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
true.
So I just keep pushing. I just keep going. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
basically how I deal with that.
yeah. I mean, middle finger to the haters, but I also
I
like,
mean,
but I also
yeah,
like you say, I like it now actually more than ever when I get
yeah,
anything negative, because not that I will listen to it, but I actually like it. It's okay, maybe this person is coming. I can either learn from it if it's a constructive thing, but if it's just
right,
hate mail and somebody's just
yeah,
hating, it's just like, okay,
yeah,
maybe then they're not in a a good space, with their lives. Because
Right.
sometimes when people are not doing well, no one who's doing
Hmm.
well in their lives has got time to hate on other people. No one. Like
No one.
anybody who's doing great,
Absolutely.
yeah, everybody who's doing
Yeah.
great, they've got no time
They're
to go
minding their
online.
own, trust me,
Exactly.
they are minding their own business. They are just taking care of their pocket.
Yeah,
They just want to check what's going on with their bag. They
yeah,
don't care about anyone else.
exactly.
Um, I just, for me, when I see that, I know for a fact that it's just a reflection of what it is that they're going through.
Mm,
Um, and honestly, for me, it just puts me in a place where I wonder, like recently, someone went onto my Instagram, and they commented on one of my performance videos that I posted, and they said to me that so and so was better than me, and that they don't understand what I'm doing. I can't sing to save my life, that kind of thing. and and
that's
I just
funny
sat
though.
there and I was just like, okay, so what is actually, for me, it was like, who hurt him? What happened to him?
Yeah.
What is it that's happening in his life that isn't going well
Mm,
for him to try and pull me down?
mm,
So that's how I choose to look at, all those kind of things, any negative energy that comes at me like that. I
mm,
look at it in that sense, it's more of a cry for help than it is about me.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, so I just take it as a pinch of salt. I'm just like, you know
Yeah.
what, this one just had a bad day today. Maybe he was walking on the side of the road and there was like a huge pot of water, and someone just drove on that pot of water, and it just really kind of messed his whole day out. So I'm just praying for good energy and praying that, whatever it is that he's going through,
Yeah.
that God may help him. So
Yeah.
that's how I choose to take all those things, because if you take all of those things, they are going to play um a role of insecurity in your life, and you start doubting a lot of things,
Mm,
and you actually lose yourself within those things.
mm.
So yeah, don't ever pay attention to what people think, yeah,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to that.
True.
Yeah.
And like, just I want to add one other thing is that people like that, they just
Yeah.
want, they waiting for you to respond, because they want to
Of
get
course.
back. They want to get back because
Yeah.
they get something from that
Yeah.
interaction, and that interaction, to be
True.
honest, it draws a lot of energy. Any
Right.
argument for me, whether it's on social media or it's
Oh,
in life, I don't argue. Like, if you know me, like,
yeah. No,
we're not gonna
I
argue.
pay no mind.
Yeah.
No, I
you
pay
know
no mind. It's too
yeah,
much energy,
it's a lot of
because
energy.
as artists, sorry to cut you,
Yeah.
but as artists, I mean, we give out energy. You
Mm,
know,
mm,
us being in the studio, being in the booth, singing. You dig into a certain place in your life.
mm,
And that's some kind of energy in order for you to deliver.
mm.
So we give out so much energy, even when we perform. We give energy for us to receive energy from the audience.
Mm,
We
mm.
work with energy.
Yeah.
So that kind of energy isn't the kind of energy we need.
Yeah.
We don't need that,
Yeah.
because we know the kind of energy we give out.
Mm,
We understand what that does to people.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, we never really want to pay mind to that. In fact, we just take it and be like, you know what? Thank you for your lemon. I'm just going to turn this lemon to
Yeah.
lemonade and
Yeah.
just move on with my
Yeah.
life.
I might write
And
a
that's
dope
how it
song for
is.
that.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah. You
saying?
might
Like,
write
and
a
that's
dope
and
song
that's all
from
it
that.
is.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
And in addition, I mean, like, you were, before COVID-19, you were just about to open for Music Soul Child. How can somebody say that you can't sing? You were about to open for Music Soul Child. Are they mad? You must ask them. You are mad. You must send me. I'll ask them. Make sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
but
You ask them.
I'll ask
I
them.
have no business
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah. But I wanna
that.
know. So how did you feel when you got the call to open for Music Soul Child?
I legit cried. I won't even lie to you, because he's a pioneer of R&B. He is amazing in his own right. I mean, he's a multi-award winning artist, and he's worked with so many other artists in his lifetime. So it was just a humbling experience to even be called, or even to have my name in the same sentence as him.
Mm,
To know that I would be an opening act for such a legend.
mm,
So for me, it was a very beautiful blessing. And yeah, I look forward to us, this whole COVID-19 being resolved, so that our lives can get back to normal, so we
mm.
can actually perform, because I still want to perform for him. I still want to open for him.
Yeah.
So I really look forward to how, when all of this is just resolved,
Yeah.
and we can finally do it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will definitely happen, and I do believe that more will also happen, and because
Yeah.
the kind of artist that you are, the work that you've done, your album is, it's out of this world. It's like
Thank
the
you.
quality is up there, the writing, I really, yeah, I'm a fan. Besides being like a collaborator with you, but I'm really a
Right.
fan of your music. Um,
Thank
and
you.
I want to ask you, was the gig that you got in Sri Lanka, was that your first international gig?
Yeah, that was my very first.
Yeah.
I was so scared to know that I'd be home, like away from home for so long. But I was excited too, because for me it was an opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, when do you just wake up in the morning and someone's like, "Hey, you, Sri Lanka, let's go."
Yeah.
It's not like an everyday kind of thing. I looked forward to it, and it was such an amazing experience for them to even, just sit and listen to me, and sing along with me. So that was such an amazing experience. I definitely would do it again.
How long
Yeah.
was it? How long did you go for?
Um, I was gone for 6 months. So what happened was they have an annual jazz festival in Sri Lanka. And that was the most mind-blowing thing for me, that Sri Lankans listen to R&B and jazz. It was mind-blowing. I couldn't believe it,
Yeah.
So it was for 6 months. So why we went for 6 months was because we got to perform at different places and in different events around the island. So that's basically why we left for so long, and it was so amazing. Like, for me, I enjoyed every part of it. I enjoyed the people, I enjoyed the food, I enjoyed just the culture all together.
Mm.
It's just a beautiful experience. It was really amazing. I'd
Mm.
definitely do it again.
Sure, sure. Before I
Yeah.
ask you my last question, I wanna ask you about you've played like different roles as a singer. Like you've got your own band now, where you perform, but you've also
Yeah.
performed um on stage for other people. Like last year, you were performing at the DSTV Delicious Festival with Ralph Gam and the super
Right.
band that you guys were. And yeah, I'm so sad that I missed that, man. I was so sick.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
goodness.
And actually I wanted to really get into that as to how you missed that. But yes, I
Yeah, I mean,
understand.
I was sick. I was so sick
Yeah,
that
I
time. Yeah,
remember. Yeah.
yeah. But I want to ask you your different roles, and you've also like sang as a backup singer for Dr. Tumi, for Yvonne Chaka Chaka. Like, so
Right.
I want to know those different roles. How different is it being the girl, and then being
Yeah.
in the background?
The background.
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you? I've always loved being a backup singer. Like, honestly, if ever I had to retire, I would still be a backup vocalist. Because for me, there's such beauty in creating, or I like to see it as being a carrier of the person, the main person. So the leader, like the leader will show you where to go, and you pave the way, or you create some kind of a um I don't know, some kind of atmosphere for the delivery. For me, that's the most important thing about music altogether. That what you you must deliver it in the most perfect way, for lack of a better word, or the best way you can. And being in the background for me was serving. It was serving, because I knew the importance of what the leader is bringing, and to be part of the delivery was the most important thing to me.
Mm.
So I enjoy backup singing. Being a backup vocalist, I enjoy it. I do it again and again and again.
Mm.
Um, I think that's why you can even tell in the music that I write, in terms of the kind of music I make, that there's some kind of sense of delivery, or some sense of comfort. I feel like back vocalists give you that warmth or that support of what you're about to receive,
Mm.
and you need to receive it in the best way possible, and they just pave the way for you. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. So that's the difference that I've learned. I definitely be a back vocalist for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why I still back myself in most of the music that I make.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the most important thing for me. outside of just being, you know, in the limelight. Yeah,
Yeah, I like that,
yeah.
and it is evident because whether it's your music and our collaborations and stuff that you've done with Ralph, your harmonies are always dope. You know, like you have such an incredible um, vocal production ability when it comes to harmonies. You know,
Thank you.
and I like that about you. But I think as a singer, I would be a bit jealous because Ayanda, people can hear you in the backing vocals that it's Ayanda Jiya singing here. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know how the lead singers would take it because now whose song is this? Is it your song? Yeah, I would be pissed.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
know. And the thing is, for me, I think for one of the reasons why I do them is because sometimes I really struggle to find, you know, people that could actually do the backings for me, you know, because there's a certain, I'm very specific in how I want things delivered. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why I do so much on my own, you know. There's a certain way I want things to sound. There's a certain approach because when it comes to me, it comes in that way, you know. So execution is everything to me. Like you need to execute, you know, properly, you know, like the best way you can, you know.
yeah,
So I guess I'm very grateful and very, you know, yeah, I'm very thankful and grateful for, you know, the ability to doing both, you
yeah.
know. So yeah.
Sure, sure. Just before I ask you, I keep saying this. I'm gonna just ask the last question without saying I'm about to ask you the last question. I'm
Okay,
getting to a
cool.
question from Facebook. Musa wanted to know, should we be looking forward to a collaboration with Portia Monique anytime soon?
You know, can I just be honest with you? There's a lot of collaborations that I really want to do, and I'm glad that Ralph is here because he is my witness. We sat in Ralph's house with Monique and Portia, and we actually spoke about, you know, collaboration. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to because I mean, wow, they are amazing in their own right. I definitely want to work with Portia Monique, even Monique Bingham. You know, I mean, I've actually sat with her and she was like, yeah, we should do something together. That blew my mind for her to just even say, you know. So definitely, you
Sure.
can be on the lookout for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind being a producer for that too. You know, if you guys want,
I wouldn't mind too. I
I
wouldn't
think
mind
that would
too.
be so
It'd be
dope. Okay.
incredible. Yeah.
So yeah, I want to ask you if you had the power, or like the ultimate power to change or influence any area in the South African music scene,
Wow.
which area would you change, and what would you change about it?
Oh my word. No ways. What I would change? I don't think I really would change anything. I don't think I would change anything because, you know, the way it's so diverse and the way we learn, I mean, we learn differently. So all of it, the way it is, you know, you learn from it the way it is. So I wouldn't really change anything. In fact, I would want to explore and experience everything because it would, you know, make me stronger or it would build me even more, you know, especially as a musician, you know. I mean, we have amazing artists and we have different kinds of genres now. You know, we're very diverse in what we do in this country. I wouldn't change anything. Definitely not.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Hey, okay. All right, Ayanda
Yeah.
Jia, thank you so much. Hey, I appreciate spending your time. You know, I hope that people learn something. But thank you so much for doing this with us.
Oh, thank you for having me on your conversation. I
Yeah,
really was humbled to be part of it. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. And I will. I am working on the song. Trust me. I know you see
I
me
know
doing
you
these
are.
things. I am working on the song.
I know
Just
you are.
it's
I remember
taking.
when you asked me, it's like, do you really know what you are saying here? Do you know what it means? Actually, I do, you know. Like it was very interesting for me to learn. Because that's my mother's mother tongue. You know, that's my mother's language. That's the language she speaks. So it was
What's the
very
name of the
interesting
language?
for her. It's Chichewa. Yeah. My mom's from Malawi. So yeah, bakhuluma isinyasa, it's Chichewa.
Uh,
So yeah, that's what the language is. So I was actually looking forward to, you know, singing it in her mother tongue. So it's really gonna be interesting. I can't
yeah,
wait. I
yeah, yeah.
can't
I
wait.
can't wait to. I hope like we get it done soon. But people will hopefully enjoy this.
Yeah,
Uh,
me too.
Ed Soul says, Tell Ayanda I dig her work so much. She's the best we have in the game. May she keep
Oh,
the gems coming. Yeah. Okay.
oh, thank you, Ed. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you. I
Sure, sure,
appreciate that.
sure. All
Yeah,
right,
man.
Ayanda. Okay, I'm gonna
All
let you
right,
go.
cool.
So guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and please share the video. Please tag somebody who might learn from it, who might enjoy it, maybe. And yeah, tomorrow it's Friday. I have the legendary DJ Chino Best. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, peace out, guys. Let's stay creative.